Let's meet Charlie DeLoach, the jury foreman from the Karen Reed's second trial.
What raised questions for you about the police investigation?
What raised, first and foremost, the house. I mean, if I was in that house, I know that house would have been stormed, first and foremost. Like, no one went into the house. Someone's laying on someone's lawn, but no one goes in the house. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
I was just woken up out of a cold sleep from hanging out the night before. By the time I came downstairs, the police were already in my house.
Like, no one went into the house. Someone's laying on someone's lawn, but no one goes in the house.
The police were already in my house. John was already gone. The police were already in my house. The police were already in my house. Police were already in my house.
This jury was incredibly attentive, very professional, and it is one of the most impressive juries I've been in front of.
Was there a singular piece of evidence that seemed to move the majority of the jurors in the room, or were there multiple pieces?
It just was, it was the whole case altogether, all the pieces, testimony, witnesses. I didn't take one note. I didn't have to after the first witness. And it just a lot together, and people had questions. We used the evidence to answer their questions.
Lie, 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 lie. We done here?
And we didn't try to go down these rabbit holes where we're just getting lost in what all these other things that was thrown at us in court or whatever, and we just had to lock down and figure it out through the evidence.
Data is data. The black box, the forensics from the SD card, we know exactly step by step where they were. We know in that window she hits him because he never moves again.
Did you go in reverse 24 miles an hour, 53 feet?
The data is what the data is. The data is what the data is.
Ultimately, Colonel Boyd really believes Karen Reed's guilty. He knows Karen Reed's guilty.
The black box, the forensics from the SD card, his healthcare data, the temperature on the battery of the cell phone, the physical evidence, the debris field, the DNA, the hair. Now from 12/12 on, we virtually have the historian and the data that tells us exactly where he went, exactly step by step where he went. And how do we have that? Well, we know the defendant's car had like a black box. Judd Welcher took that data from the black box and downloaded it so you can see the movements and the triggering events. And then Shannon Burgess found a key, critical piece of this case that did not exist before. He found it recently. And it was that SD card. The SD card that everybody missed, including the defense expert. Everybody missed it. Shannon Welcher found the key so that we could have the time and date and location coordinated for an impenetrable timeline that can't be broken. And decided to stop her Lexus, decided to put it in reverse, decided to accelerate 75% in the exact same direction of where she left him, and then hit him, and he died. That is second-degree murder.
Definitely a psychopath.
Ladies and gentlemen, DeLoach should be held in contempt. What a fraudster. He said he played dumb. He knew about the facts of the case. He was so biased, and voir dire is the French word. It means to speak the truth. Listen to the evidence, reserve judgment until they hear all the evidence in the case, and then to follow the court's instructions, not to go in there with an agenda. And if it were up to me, he would be prosecuted for, well, not being truthful to the court. Now, DeLoach was selected after a masterful charade of feigning ignorance, and he said, quote, "I played dumb to dodge the duty," He admitted only to become pick number 1, and he arrived with baggage heavier than a snowbound SUV.
At this question and answer event at Fisher College, Charlie DeLoach says no one was more surprised than he was when he was chosen to sit on the Karen Reed jury.
You knew a little bit about the case going in, but you kind of played dumb because you didn't want to get picked. And did that serve you, or did that serve the prosecution and defense?
It backfired on me because I was the first one picked.
One debt to society later.
Well, he confessed last Thursday that his path to impartiality was more of a scenic detour through personal grudges and snap judgments. Speaking at Fisher College, DeLoach painted himself as the juror equivalent of the Dos Equis icon. You know, the most interesting man in the deliberation room? That's right. Whispering tales of the 80s Boston grit while simultaneously earning laurels of at least judicious decision-making on the panel, setting the stage for his bias that, in jury terms, is about as subtle as a siren in a library.
DeLoach described growing up in Boston public housing during the 80s and 90s and says he was often stopped and harassed by police.
In the height of like the Charles Stewart case, it was scary because they was targeting black men.
Oh, damn! Bravo!
You there! Get out of the truck and put your hands in the air. Stand on one leg. With the tip of your finger, touch the tip of your nose. Now, in a circular motion, rub your stomach and pat your head while saying rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Rubber baby buggy bumpers.
Strike a pose. Now vote. Now walk slowly toward the car.
The trial's opening act, an EMT fumbling over whether victim John O'Keefe was found coat-clad in the blizzard. DeLoach's response, 0 notes, full verdict. I didn't have to after the first witness. It was like, okay, I see where this is going, he revealed, embodying the juror's ideal of reserved judgment with all the restraint of a toddler eyeing some cake.
You didn't touch the cake?
No.
Why are you lying?
Because I didn't touch the cake.
Convinced from the jump that Reed's SUV tail smelled fishier than a Canton backyard in January, he rallied the panel toward acquittal on murder charges, steadfastly believing O'Keefe met his end via an inside brawl, a canine chomp, and a frigid frame job.
DeLoach stands by his not guilty verdicts and remains convinced someone other than Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe.
12 seconds later.
But he also says the outcome of the trial might have been different if Reed had only been charged with manslaughter.
Would it have been more likely that she would have been found guilty?
Yes. Yeah.
Montage. What follows is a brief construction montage.
Because then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that.
And some of the jurors might have been more swayed toward that.
Because it was a lesser of a charge than murder and stuff. So.
We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage. You get the idea.
She could overcome that. Then she would have not felt like it was she could overcome that.
In a nod to prosecutorial what-ifs, DeLoach allowed that dialing down to manslaughter might have flipped the script. It's the legal equivalent of admitting your steak was overcooked, but blaming the menu. Fascinating, if not entirely impartial. Now Reed, acquitted of second-degree murder, but nailed on operating under the influence, a good old-fashioned DUI, which would necessarily implicate that she was the driver and that she was drunk, didn't hit O'Keefe, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, DeLoach should be held in contempt. I know there's nothing's going to happen to this guy, but what a fraudster. He said he played dumb. He knew about the facts of the case. He was so biased, and voir dire is the French word. It means to speak the truth. And it means to speak the truth so that we can find out if we have jurors who can listen to the evidence, reserve judgment until they hear all the evidence in the case, and then to follow the court's instructions, not to go in there with an agenda. Really? Not exactly what a juror's job is to be. He should have said, Judge, I can't be fair and impartial because I think this witness is a buffoon, and, let me go home. But he stayed and wrote it out, didn't care, didn't listen to the prosecution's case at all. Unbelievable. This is why people lose faith in the jury system, when people can't be fair and impartial, and that means you have to admit that you're biased or that you can't be fair and impartial. Now, I understand jurors don't live in a vacuum. They bring their life experiences with them, but if you cannot set that aside, that's not the right case for you.
This grand juror and the friend had a position on the matter before them. Leslie's lawyer argued that they were trying to free Karen Reed by leaking the information. Judge Talwani also said, I was so impressed by that jury that Judge Talwani herself impaneled. But you can't do it if you don't want to or are unable to live up to the promises of confidentiality, because that creates a problem. And Judge Talwani said now that she tells all her jurors, if you can't keep information secret, if you can't keep this private, do not serve on the jury. I know you have to have faith in us, Judge Talwani, so that the system can uphold the best possible version of itself. Ms. Leslie says, I am sincerely sorry for the harm I did. I disrespected the judicial system. I understand I could have seriously harmed someone by revealing what I did.
Not to go in there with an agenda and realize, I've heard the first witness, good enough for me. Really? Not exactly what a juror's job is to be. He should have said, Judge, I can't be fair and impartial, but he stayed and wrote it out, didn't care, didn't listen to the prosecution's case at all. Unbelievable. DeLoach, now peddling his memoirs in the making, leaves us pondering, is the sage survivor of systemic shadows or the poster child for why voir dire exists. Either way, in a system demanding blind justice, this foreman's gaze was anything but obscured.
Now, Charlie DeLoach says he has not received any money for this case since the trial ended back in June.
One pathetic sob story later.
Jury foreman says he is currently working on a book about his life and his experience on the Reed trial. He says he's currently in the process of shopping that book around.
Is this some kind of joke?
Yes.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!
Because you don't want people that have such a bias against a particular type of crime sitting on the jury. But hey, there's still a civil case, and as we saw over the weekend, the Goldman family is going to get their $58 million from the original $33 million verdict against O.J. Simpson, and now they're going to get some $50 million from the estate to settle that claim. I did see this little meme. Now, don't you think this is funny? A little car accident, the driver saying, I hit him, and then the character from Scooby-Doo saying, let's go check the basement. I know, all the Karen Reed lovers are going to hate me. I can hear it now. Oh, Scott, don't care. The prosecutor in that case gave him masterclass in prosecution. But it didn't matter. He could have talked for another 10 days, another 10 hours. It would not have mattered when you have jurors that are going to refuse to listen to the evidence. And I get it. If you got a beef against the police, I get it. You're a great defense juror. The process is supposed to be that you can be fair and impartial to each side, listen to the evidence, reserve judgment, and then make the decision based upon that. And the system doesn't work if people are going to lie about how they got on the jury and then not follow the rules of what you're supposed to do. Unbelievable.
There was no collision with John O'Keefe. There was no collision. There was no collision.
The folks that cared most and loved Johnny are all following the evidence. Her behavior in conjunction with the hard evidence, in conjunction with the circumstantial evidence presented at trial, points in one direction. And that is that Karen Reed killed
What could be more egregious?
That is.
What could be more egregious?
That is what happened.
I hired David Yannetti. I asked him those questions the night of January 29th. Like, David, what if I clipped him in the knee? David said, yeah, then you have some element of culpability.
We are getting to your potential jury pool. You told us to stop because we're too effective. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to go stronger. We're going to go forward trying to jury. You like that, Adam Lowry? You like that, Michael Morrissey? We are getting to your potential jury pool. You told us to stop because we're too effective. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. You told us to stop because we're too effective. But we're not going to stop. We're going to keep going. We're going to go stronger. We're going to go forward trying to affect the jury pool. We are. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm. To conflict at all these potential juries.
That body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car.
She hates the O'Keefes more than anyone. Let me tell you, from somebody who's had a lot of conversations with Karen Reed, she fucking hates the O'Keefes.
Intimate text between two people who are in love with each other, having a moment, and then getting back together. And you loved him, I'm sure.
I didn't. We were dating. We were dating.
And you loved him, I'm sure.
I didn't. We were dating. We were dating.
And you loved him, I'm sure.
I didn't. We were dating. We were dating. That body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car. That body wasn't hit by my car. Clipped him in the knee. I clipped him in the knee. I clipped him in the knee. He didn't look mortally wounded.
Did I hit him? I know I said I hit him.
He didn't look mortally wounded.
I was looking to find him on the side of the road. I was expecting I'd find him.
Said, Dad, I think I struck something.
Didn't think I hit him, but could I have clipped him? Could I have tagged him in the knee and incapacitated him? He didn't look mortally wounded as far as I could see.
This would have been the moment you dropped him off at the party.
Yeah.
The actual tears, but in the actual tears, but.
And she said, and she said, John's dead.
Clipped him in the knee. I clipped him in the knee. I clipped him in the knee.
Karen Reed's defense team claims she's being framed.
He didn't look mortally wounded.
Why is this occurring, Your Honor? Why is this happening? Your Honor, at some point, this has to come to an end.